Hi, I'm David Bell for Kiwi Connection.
And I'm Stuart McCabe for Cinema Addicts.
And we've just come straight back from watching Wrinkle in Time. Stuart, what was your first impression of this film?
Overall impressions of the film is that it's got a very compelling and interesting story. It's a very unique and interesting concept, full of creativity, great family movie. Overall, I'd be happy to give it a 3 out of 5.
And I'd be happy to give it 3.5 out of 5. There were a whole lot of things in it that made us very much aware of the Christian message that was behind the original intention of Wrinkle in Time, written by Madeline L'Engle, and her whole background in terms of understanding Christianity through the power of story, etc., really comes to the fore in the film. I think they've done the book proud. Have you read the book?
I haven't actually, but if the movie is anything to go by, I'd be pretty compelled to go and have a look at the book and see some of the creative and strong themes which shine through in the film.
Yeah, I think this is a movie that for a younger audience would actually motivate them to go out and read the book, because it had all the elements of a great story. The classic struggle between good and evil.
And the decision about making good choices, even though you face an amazing amount of danger, and the sort of easier option is often, brought up, which is quite a touching thing. One of the things that I found quite interesting, David, is that the film had quite a heavy reliance on CGI, and I just wanted to get your opinion on how the film compares to the book and what the big things you noticed are different.
Well, one of the things in the book is that the language that the author used was really quite compelling. It was written simply because it was really trying to communicate with a younger age group, but nevertheless the pictures that were evoked in that book were very, very powerful. And I think actually the film did it proud. I mean, to put Oprah Winfrey, who is perhaps one of the biggest forces in moviedom today, along as the chief character amongst the witches, Mrs. Witch, to actually create something that was believable. And I thought it was fantastic that they had this super-sized Oprah right at the beginning, because I don't know that it could have been done any other way if they'd brought it down to a normal human size.
No, certainly not. And it really conveys this larger-than-life character and sort of power which is presented. And the thing I noticed, just having watched the film alone, is that you've got these 3 witches, or all females, and they're introducing to these kids this alternative reality which their father is in. He's discovered it. And one of the big challenges, I guess, you face is how do you introduce it without overwhelming people? And I think they did a reasonably good job of slowly showing them what is capable within this world, and slowly moving towards, I guess, the central theme of the story, David, which is delivering a good outcome, despite facing a lot of trial and tribulation.
I thought they did that very, very well, and all the people, from the actors through to the director, through the CGI, all of that delivered a pretty powerful message for that age group about the effects of bullying. I thought there was a really powerful message that could be picked up by the Me Too movement, about the power of female character within what is often regarded as a kind of a male-dominated environment, namely the scientific environment. And here we had the superstar of the movie, young Meg, as just a superb physicist. And I love that. I thought this was really great stuff.
I think one of the great things which really comes through as well is the value which young people and young kids play within the film. And I thought that the actors, for Charles Wallace and for the 2 main characters, were simply exceptional. And the contribution which they made to making the film more believable was just incredible.
He was a very talented little actor for Charles Wallace, wasn't he?
Absolutely. I think that to me was one of the strong points of the film, along with the creative dimension in which this alternative world existed and all the things and creatures that inhabited this alternative world. One thing which I found a bit troubling, though, was it tended to have a heavy reliance on CGI at times, and there were definitely a couple of noticeable plot holes which went unanswered. And I think that was possibly one of the drawbacks which I found, David. What were your thoughts on sort of things that weren't quite up to standard for you?
There was the difficulty, I thought, of really creating the sense of terror with the three witches. Because Oprah looked very benign, and they all looked very benign in a kind of a way. And that element, the scare factor, my guess is that when you read the book, you're sort of faced with more of a sense of menace. And the menace of the it comes to, quite a pulsating, both in the book and in the movie. It's quite pulsating when we get to that final battle, if you like, between good and evil. And I guess that the book really does put the power of love at the heart of everything. I guess the movie does that too, but in a kind of a slightly Disney way. It's just a little too saccharine, whereas the book has a slightly more steel edge to the power of what this love must be in the face of immense evil.
Final thoughts?
Yeah, it's a fantastic family movie. The 3.5 stars really, it sounds a little bit mean. It's a better film than 3.5 stars, but yeah, I'm wedded to the original.
Yep. All right, well, that's our brief talk and discussion and review of A Wrinkle in Time. It's now available to see in cinemas, so if you are looking for a good family movie this holidays, it's A Wrinkle in Time. I gave it 3 out of 5. David gave it 3.5 out of 5. It is definitely worth watching.